Welcome back to On Deck Circle Podcast. I am your host, Nick Zaniboni, with my very good friend, Mr. Jason Beckner. Jason, how are you this evening?
What's up going on, Nick? It's a beautiful, almost I think we call it the first spring here in Chicago. We got into the 50 degrees recently, so
Wait,
we're
50?
it was in the 50s today. So it's coming your way. So the snow all just flash melted and it's got puddles and floods everywhere right now. So fun
Yeah,
times here in the Midwest.
it was actually 48 today. So I guess that's like not crazy. Yeah, but so I was telling my wife on our since we do work together, we commute together. This morning I said, "You want to know what's going to happen? It's going to be sunny out today, melt all the snow. Then overnight it's going to be ice.
Yep.
And then it's going to be a nightmare tomorrow because that's just how the things work in the Northeast and where you are."
Midwest.
And speaking of the Midwest, Jason, cold open question of the week. Thoughts on Love is Blind from Minnesota. Ready, set, play the music. All right, Jason. Hit
Well,
me with all of your thoughts. We're gonna talk more Love is Blind than baseball today. And you know
this
what? That's okay.
Yeah, this is gonna become a Love Is Blind recap podcast. No, I'm just kidding. So I'm actually gotten to the part now where they've all been not all been engaged, but the couples have gotten engaged and are now into the I guess you want to I call it the honeymoon, but it's not the
Yep.
honeymoon. They're not married. The engagement getaway in sunny Honduras, and I feel like I have the same sentiment as many other on the internet, and this is just a snooze fest. And I would be lying if I didn't tell you I skipped a whole episode just to get past the pods. That's how bored I
Wow.
was out of my mind of the
So
pods.
too many pods in this
Way
season.
too many pods.
I do agree. However, I think the issue was there was a lot of iffiness and wishy-washiness, mostly between there was like a love square going on
Yep.
with
Mason and Madison.
Mason, Madison, Alex, and then Meg was involved with one of them.
Yes. Which also kind of was a crazy thing because, like, you thought they were going to at least split up and get engaged, get two couples. But instead, spoiler alert, we get none of them to be a couple. That was the biggest curveball I ever saw was when, okay, Madison dumps Mason, right? And then he gets shut out by Meg, whatever, that's fine. And you're like, oh, well, that Madison and Alex are going to get together. No. Alex is like, we're going to fight all the time, so we're not going to get engaged.
Yeah,
And
it
that was
was.
just wild.
Wait, so did you see? Yeah. This definitely happened before. I'm very bad with names. It doesn't help they all fucking look the exact same. Every
Yes.
one of those guys. The one, his fiance accused him of knowing what she looked like.
Yes. And I thought that was
That-
kind of weird, too, because he seemed super guilty.
He did, but then he seemed so innocent. I think it was just because he was like so cool, calm, and collective about it. I was
Yeah.
like, I've never handled any situation as calm as you are
Yep.
currently. Because also, like, we don't know, the dramatic pauses might be longer in the edit
Right.
because, like, he's sitting there and thinking for like 10 seconds in his life. And then he's like, no. And
Yeah.
then she apologized. I've never gotten into a fight and had someone apologize when the original fight was my fault.
Yeah.
So,
That was the best drama so far for the first. I think we're like 6 episodes in.
yeah.
That's been the highlight of the show so far. Is supposedly him cheating the system, which would only happen in a city like Minnesota, where the town is so little, but it's a big town, but it's so little population that you can get accused of following someone beforehand and
Is it
picking
that
up on their
small? Like,
profile
genuinely,
bio.
is it that small?
I don't know, but I saw. Show me your TikTok handle after the pod, and I'll show you a TikTok I had where the guy was talking about how everybody knew everybody, and he couldn't even get on the show because there was like 5 other people that had been casted that he already knew. So
Yeah, I love the guy with the long hair. I'm
yeah,
in on him. And he was so Minnesota. It was the best part about it. And what sucks is like he got engaged in like the second episode.
I know.
So they just kind of forget about him until the Honduras.
Yeah, no. The pods have always been my. I just hate that part of the show. I just don't care about it. I know they're trying to build character and build relationships, but as someone that's not into this, like all full in on the romance and the love shows, just give me to the juicy parts. Give me
the alcohol and then everyone from the pods meeting up at a local bar.
Yes, give me that.
That's the episode I strive for.
Yes,
there is some drama that's going to come up soon for you, and
sweet.
It gets so the next once they come back from the honeymoon is there's a little bit more steak to bite on in the drama department.
Love that. Love to hear that because that's what I'm here for. I don't want to care about the lovey-dovey stuff. I want to see the drama. I want to see the awkwardness when they find out when they live together that one's a pig and one's not. I love that stuff, man. That's why I love Love Is Blind. So
because it's real. Like that's the real shit. Like you got to learn how to live with someone. Like it's
exactly.
Crazy.
All right. Well, also stay tuned for Nick and I's sister podcast where we talk about all things Love Is Blind soon to come.
Yeah.
But this is the On Deck Circle, and we're talking about baseball today. Last week we did the catcher preview. Today we're doing the corner infield previews. But before we get into all of our players we're talking about this week, let's talk about some fantasy baseball and platforms. If you're not playing fantasy baseball on Fantrax, you're crazy. Fantrax is the #1 spot to play not only regular fantasy baseball, but Dynasty baseball. Our Fantasy Six-Pack series is on Fantrax. A lot of my Dynasty site leagues are on Fantrax. Fantrax is the #1 fantasy baseball platform. Get on over there. Sign up today. Move your league. You're missing out without it. All right. First guy we're going to talk about again, we're talking about the corner positions. So that obviously includes the first base and the third base. So it's a little bit of a bigger pool. But I figure sometimes, at least to me, after doing some research in not only this podcast, but for articles for the site, the first base dries up to me pretty quickly. Third base can find a lot of bargains and some nice deep options, but first base dries up. But why don't we get into some of these guys here? First guy we're going to talk about is our sleepers. Kick it right off with the sleepers. Talk about how you can go with your guy here, Tyler Soderstrom of the Athletics.
All right, Jason, I'm going to do what we call in the biz a callback. Do you remember last episode where I told you what advanced metric I was really honing in on this season?
Oh, shit. No, I don't actually.
It was barrel percentage.
That's right.
My guy, Tyler Soderstrom, barreled the fuck out of the ball. 14.6%. Again, also, I'm buying all Sacramento A's, whatever they're called. They're playing in a barn, a minor league park that they're going to pound the ball in. So this is someone kind of a post-hype prospect type. Mm-hmm. Those guys that I really like to hone in on, especially later in drafts. He wasn't awful last season. Hit nine homers in how many games? In 189 at bats. Nothing like too eye-popping there. But there's just so much to really love about the player. He was almost a 50% hard hit rate. And I just truly think, especially at his cost, which is, sorry, I need to get better at this. But also, you might even get a little catcher action there. Later in the he was drafted as a catcher, so he might get behind the plate a few games, maybe just get that eligibility at some point. And I think him as If he's your catcher, it's an absolute home run. If he's your first baseman, I do think you're going to lose a little bit of power. But as you said, after like the top 5 of first baseman, I think he might be like the best option. He's currently going over pick 300, like crazy. And as a first baseman, he's like 39th. But definitely someone I would like to target everywhere. Dynasty, especially. Dynasty, it might be a little bit harder because he was a top prospect at some point. Only 23, so definitely someone I would recommend looking into.
No, I think you made a good point there about the the Sacramento, Oakland, Las Vegas Athletics. I'm in on a lot of those guys this year. They're in that but they're in that minor league stadium. So I think you can see some good results out of those players. A couple other players, that come to mind. Lawrence Butler. I think even Zach Geloff's got a good rebound coming this year. So
yeah,
good point on the Athletics.
I do think you might be able to get 20, 25 homers out of him. And that's really like all you can ask for.
I don't think that's that far a stretch. Like you said, we had 9 in only 189 at bats. So he was already like on pace. His 162 game pace was right around that anyway. So I don't think 25 is out of the question at all.
Yeah, I would take him over the Rockies first baseman. Toglia. Yeah.
No,
easy.
Yeah, Taglia's getting a lot of helium right now too, but that's for another episode or different discussion. When I was looking at the sleeper list, I kind of come up with a guy that I could talk about. I noticed one thing, and that's when you get starting deep into the first base and or corner infield position, a lot of these guys are multi-position eligible, right? There's maybe 5 to 10 true first basemen. And that's the beauty about the corner infield position. It doesn't have to be pigeonholed in the first base, pigeonholed in the third base. You can just find some guy that maybe even only plays mostly second base. And that's my guy, Jake Cronenworth. For those super deep league cuts, he is eligible at second. He is eligible at first. He is eligible at, I believe, third. But if you're like most teams, your middle and your second and your short, those positions are super deep right now. Especially at the top part of that position. So when I was looking, I saw Jake Cronenworth, which I always feel like he gets highly, highly disrespected when it comes to fantasy. He does nothing but contribute across the board. I feel like he does a really good job, especially as ADP. He's a career 247 hitter. Gains a little bit extra value in OBP leagues. He's got a 329 career OBP. He's got a 740 OPS. And right now he's going outside the top 200. Again, you're in a deep 15-team league and you're looking for a corner infielder. This is a guy that I had on TGFBI at least last year, maybe even the last 2 years. He's just a guy that gets completely overlooked. When you look at his 2024 stats, he totaled 150 runs plus RBIs. 83 of those were RBIs. He was just 5 shy of his career best 88. Got a really good discipline, rarely strikes out. He's got a career 6.3% stringing strike rate. The whiff rate, the chase rate are always way down. Again, doesn't have huge power, which you kind of want out of your first baseman. But this isn't your first baseman. This is your corner infielder spot or your first base spot if you're in a deep league. He had double-digit home runs almost every year of his season. He had 17 last year. I think he just gets super undervalued. He's in that stacked lineup of the Padres. Again, super deep sleeper for you guys out there. Jake Cronenworth is my guy this year for the corner infield position.
I really like that one, especially because he is in that older, you hate to say someone that's like late 20s, early 30s is older, but like he's completely forgotten about, really. So, and especially with the versatility, it's definitely an easy plus. I do want an update. Soderstrom started at catcher today in spring training in their game. So that's a plus for me.
Love that.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get on now to let's look over from sleeper to bust, right? That kind of together. Let's go ahead and talk about your guy here, Mark Vientos of the Mets.
Yeah. Oh, this is another guy that I think just everyone is like overreacting, but like in the positive way. So I'm kind of just going against that because I just think he's going way too early currently. So right now he's going around pick 100 average, and that's just a little bit too much. That's too rich for my blood. I fully understand that he was great last year with 27 homers, but I'm really trying. I've been focusing on his past, and he did not get on base his first 2 years in the big leagues, and that's something that I'm somewhat worried about. So again, it's not. This is another time where I'm not against the player. I'm against the value. I believe that's something you say, right?
Yep. I don't hate players. I mean, I don't hate players that hate ADPs.
Exactly. So that's 100% where I am currently with Mark Vientos. So he swings and misses a lot, and it's just too early for me to be drafting someone that everyone has their warts. I get that, but it's just too early for me to make that pick where a top 100 guy could plummet your year if he's a complete bust. And I just worry that you might get 25 homers, but you might tank your average or tank your OBP. So that's kind of where I'm at with Vientos.
Yeah, the little alarming thing with Vientos to me was just how quickly of a difference he made between, the part-time season of 2023 and then you go to 2024. He goes from 9 home runs and 218 at bats. Then you just double that and he goes all the way up to 27 home runs last year. Like that just seemed a little.
Did he do steroids, Jason?
It was just weird. I know like a lot of the expected stats and expected slugging kind of suggested it was okay, but that just seems crazy. You triple your home run output and only double the at bats. Might have been a little fluky for me. I don't know if you can count on a 25 plus. I think more along the lines 15 to 20. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. I agree. I think Vientos is being a little overvalued here. I think he also had a really good, I want to say it was the second half. I don't have the splits up, but I think he really turned it on down the stretch for the Mets as they were making that playoff push.
That Mets team was just had a horseshoe up their ass the whole second half. The grimace Mets, the gay Mets. I was all in actually. I was rooting for them because I had to. But yeah, it's just too rich for me, and I'll gladly be wrong if I'm drafting Vientos and if I'm not drafting him and he hits 30 homers and if he replicates what he did last year, I'm happy to be wrong about it.
Yeah. No, again, when it comes to these busts and stuff, it's more about the ADP than it is the player, like we just talked about. Just too high of an ADP. And it's kind of where it leads into my guy, too. My guy I'm talking about this week is for the corner fielder is Josh Naylor, first baseman. Moves over to Arizona Diamondbacks. Now, don't get me wrong. He is coming off the best power season of his career. He had 31 bombs last year. But it's pushed his ADP up to a top 100. He's currently being drafted as the 7th best first baseman off the board. And when you look at his advanced stats, it just says something different to me. Both his barrel and hard hit rates are all around league average. His launch angle ranks in the bottom 10% of the league. He just doesn't. I think he gets a little bit of a flukiness to him. I don't know what that. There was a lot of discussion about how the Guardians moved out some almost made windows in the right field bleachers. I don't know what it was. They had moved shipping containers or something, and it caused this big draft out in right field. Maybe
this is a real thing.
Benefited from that. Yeah. It was 2 years ago. They made these big windows by removing stands or shipping containers and made these big windows into the stadium, and it caused a draft or a wind blowouting effect in right field at the Guardian. I think it's called Progressive Field or something like that. But yeah, I'm just not sold on him. And as someone that's owned Naylor and used him in my corner infield spot in a lot of dynasty leagues, I've seen this over the year. He always shows fatigue, and his second half of the season, he just always has a huge dip. Not only the counting stats, but also the ratios as well. And someone that's in the top 100, especially in roto leagues, you can have some ups and downs, but you can't have one half, two half players, right? You can have 1 month, one good month, it can't be split down the middle though. And then that's what I've really seen out of him. I've never seen a full, complete, consistent season with Naylor. And now with the move to Arizona, you never know what could happen. I just think that right now the ADP is just too high for me. And similar to how you feel about Vientos, I'm just feel the same way about Naylor. He's just not going to return that ROI on that ADP, if you ask me.
Completely agree with you.
All right, well, before we get into our next guys here, let's go ahead and talk about fansixpack.net. You can subscribe to become a member today, get access to our Discord, custom league questions. You get access to all the fantasy rankings, whether it's baseball, football, all that great stuff. You got to do that by becoming a member today. Do so by going to fansysixpack.net/plans. Let's jump in to our breakouts, and yours starts off with a good one, and that's Junior Caminero.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be one. I don't want to say flag plant because Junior Caminero, we all kind of are saying that he's gonna have a big year, but I'm saying next year Junior Caminero will be like a top 10, 15 dynasty and redraft player. He is just so ridiculous. And I know everyone saw that home run in the, I think it was the Dominican World Series, and it was an absolute bomb. And it's just like, I think we're looking at like a 35 home run, 100 RBI guy. I'm not saying he's going to get that this season, but dude, he is ridiculous. And right now he's going pick 99. So let's call that pick 100. I just told you that Mark Vientos was going around pick 100. That is wild to me that they're even in the same ballpark. So I am 1,000% picking Junior Caminero everywhere I can. And honestly, I'm happy to pick him in the top 50 to 75, just because that's how much I really believe in him this season. And I think he's going to be an absolute superstar. And he's still only 21, and like just ridiculous power out of such a young guy. And I am super excited about him this year.
No, I agree. I am all in on Junior Caminero as well. One thing I will say that's been really annoying me lately, and that's Tampa Bay Rays prospects and their manipulation of them. I'm sick of it. Whether it be platooning them once they get to the majors and limiting their at-bats. It's just or service time manipulation. I'm just over the Tampa Bay Rays and their prospects. It's really annoying. I can't wait for them to trade Junior Caminero, and then I'm all in on them. And whether it be, like we've seen in the last few seasons, there's just guys that or there's a bunch of hype around them. They come up and they just fall flat on their face. So,
yeah.
But with that said, I do not think that's going to happen with Junior Caminero. I do think he is legit. I just wish they would give him the consistent playing time. The Heat should have been up the June call-up last year, and they just waited and gave him like a month, if that, of at-bats at the end of the season last year, which is crazy.
Yeah, so it was the Lindome was where he hit this home run. I believe it's some Dominican league. In 22 games, he hit 452 with an on-base percentage of 489, 15 extra base hits. Crazy. 18 batted balls over 105. He is going to demolish the ball, and he's already hit a home run this spring. It was an absolute nuke. So I am ready for this.
Yeah. All in. Wheels up on Junior Caminero.
Wheels up.
All right, we'll go ahead and jump over to my guy here, and that's going to be Maikel Garcia of the Kansas City Royals. Garcia was one of those guys who was on my radar going into the 2023 season. And then I did it again last year. Followed them up and had another strong 2024 season. Just a solid value right now. He's got a current ADP of 210. Doesn't offer a ton of power. But the thing I like about him best is his approach at the plate. If I bring up his StatCast page here, you look at this right now. Down here at the bottom, this is all the squared up rate, the chase rate, the whiff rate, the K rate. All of it. Way up in the high reds. Doesn't walk as much as you like. But that's because he puts the ball in play so much. I love what he does. He got really good speed. Good things happen when you put the ball in play. Right now, the biggest value that he brings is the stolen bases and the runs scored. He had 84 runs in 2024, as well as 37 stolen bases last year. He's had 60 stolen bases over the last 2 years. He's only getting better as the years go on. He also now hits in a pretty stacked lineup, so the runs are going to be there again. He puts the ball in play. But I think with that at that ADP, that value is just too good for me right now. And I think we can with these new rules, the stolen bases, everyone's getting stolen bases, but the elite base dealers are getting those elite numbers, right? Like, yeah, everyone gets 15 to 20 stolen bases now with decent speed, but those elite guys are getting 30, 40, 50 stolen bases. So I think it's not definitely out of the realm for him to get 40 plus again, or he's already 3 away from it last year. The OBP again, I would like to see a little bit more. I think a lot of that OBP is some bad BABIP as well as not taking a lot of walks, but puts the ball in play, runs the bases well. Great value outside the top 200 for a corner infielder.
Yeah, and in some leagues you can get him at second base too.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, well, those are our breakouts. Let's go ahead and now get into everyone's favorite topic, and that's prospects. It's not a current Red Sox prospect, but a former Red Sox prospect. Let's hit it.
Yeah. What's also is very funny is I'm pretty sure I did him as like a down on the farm like a couple of years ago.
That might be true. I wouldn't put it past you for sure.
Mostly just because he was a Red Sox prospect. We got Chase Meidroth, who got traded in the Garrett Crochet deal. And if we're being completely honest, he was one of my favorite Red Sox prospects just because of I'm not going to say he's Dustin Pedroia, but like that like gritty second base, middle infield type, also plays third. And I just think that his hold on one second. I'm reading this. Last year, he was just so great at getting on base. Against righties, his on-base percentage was .458. Against lefties, it was .387. Like, the dude just gets on base, and I don't think he's going to hit you 25 homers or 20 homers, but that's okay because of just him getting on base is super, super important. He was barreling the ball all in. And what's even better, as you know, the White Sox, they stink. So I think they're going to give him some, like, I don't know if I could name who else would play, like, who's their third base? Like Joey Gallo? Like, he's on their team, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think third.
Yeah. I think we'll see him by June. And I think he just could be someone that contributes to your team in a positive way. Again, he's not gonna hit the homers, but I think he's gonna contribute everywhere else, and that's where I'm buying him for sure.
No, I love it. Like you said, it's the White Sox, and the good thing the White Sox have been doing, and that's accumulating great farm system talent, and all around kind of that same range, right? I mean, they got the Montgomery brothers now. They're not brothers, but I'm gonna call them brothers because they got the Colson and the Braden Montgomerys. Chase Meidroth, they got the other guy, got your boy Kyle Teal. They're just accumulating all this nice talent that's going to kind of come up together and hopefully gel and bond together. And it could be sooner than later because they got nobody worth a lick on that team right now to start. So when your best player is, God, I can't think of the guy's name, left field, Benintendi, which is another one of your boys, another one of your Red Sox boys. But yeah, I think we see Meredith here pretty soon. Definitely at least by the middle of the season, if not the end of the season.
All right. Sure. I'm going to stop you and just read through their projected lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Starting in the outfield, Mike Toshman. I have heard of him.
Former
he played for the Cubs for a bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah, a couple years, most recently last year.
Next, this is someone that I think we could talk about. When are we going to stop making Lou Bob a thing?
I know.
I don't know if Lou Bob's good at baseball.
He can't stay healthy, that's for sure.
He can't stay healthy. It's just, yeah, it's not Rusney Castillo bad, but like he's not good. So then we have Benintendi. Then we have Andrew Vaughn. Josh Rojas. He's fine, but if he's your starting third baseman, no. Second baseman, Lenya Sosa.
No one.
DH, Miguel Vargas. Former huge top prospect, I think.
Yeah,
then we got maybe Colson Montgomery, then Corey Lee. If Kyle Teel is not their starting catcher, they're not serious about playing a baseball team.
You know what's even grosser is if you look at their starting rotation, projected starting
Tyler
rotation.
Gilbert, Martin Perez, Jonathan Cannon, Davis Martin, Sean Burke. Clevenger's on this team still?
Yeah, it's crazy. From being in the Chicago market, it's a bit of a pile on the White Sox lately, and rightfully so. I mean, I don't know what they're doing over there on the south side, but it's not my problem. But yeah, I think some of these prospects will start making some appearances here. If they were smart, they would. But yeah,
it's their second rebuild in like 5-10 years.
I mean, they just made the playoffs in 22, I think, or 21.
Really?
Yeah, they were, and then it all fell apart.
Huh.
Eloy got hurt. And
yeah. Do you remember when they posted that thing like Eloy died?
Yeah,
that was wild.
Yeah, I mean it's a continual rebuild there on the south side, but it's ugly over there. Tough times, but hopefully some of these younger guys that they're acquiring here, like Chase Meidroth, will make a difference for them.
Yeah, I mean he can play. He's better than Lenya Sosa,
Right, exactly. Let's go over to my guy here, a little bit more, a pretty well-known guy as well. Nick Kurtz, the first baseman for the, I guess we'll call him. I keep putting him Athletics because I don't know what to call him. So they're just the Athletics at this point. But he was the first-round pick in last year's draft, 4th overall out of Vanderbilt University. I mean, the pedigree's there, top 10 prospect. And even when he was at Vandy, he hit for both a big-time power and for good average. In his 3 seasons there, he hit .333. A 1235 OPS, and he averaged about 20 home runs a season, which in the college is only like 50 games. So he's getting almost a home run every other game. He did appear in 12 games in the minors last year. Did have good results. Followed that up with an awesome Arizona Fall League. He's got a really big, solid frame. It's 6'5", generates a ton of leverage. Got good athleticism. He should move quickly through that system, but kind of how we talked about Tampa Bay. Oakland does a lot of the same BS with their prospects as well. This manipulation, keep them down there for a while just because there's nobody there to watch them, and I don't know what the reason is why they manipulate their prospects. Yeah. But Tampa and Oakland they do the same thing. They keep these guys down there for a long time. But I think Nick Kurtz is too good to be manipulated, and he should be going with this. I mean, he should be up this season by All-Star break. The latest, in my opinion. You probably won't even make it till September, and most likely not even till 2026. I'm barring some injuries or something. But if it's one thing I love, and that's college hitting prospects.
He's 6'5". Yeah, that's a first baseman.
Yeah, dude.
Right there.
Yeah, he's going to be good, and especially if he gets up this season and he's playing in that sandbox of that minor league stadium. Yeah, I think he could even put up like a 20 home run season if he's up by the All-Star break.
Yeah, easy. For sure.
So yeah, that's my guy, my prospect. Again, a little bit more known guy. He was just drafted, so that always makes it a little more well known. But hey, I like him. All right, man. Well, that's gonna do it for our corner infield positions. Next week we will figure out we either going on to the next position or we got some special things planned for you. But other than that,
special things have been penciled in.
Yes,
confirmed from the special person. Penciled in, not pen. Pencil.
Yes. In case there's a little bit of an error, we can erase and change.
You can always erase.
Yeah. All right, Nick. Well, we'll talk next week.
All right, bro. We'll see you.